morning, Tia. I'm Teo Torres.
And I'm Deirdre Fitzpatrick. Let's go ahead and join KCRA3 meteorologist Tamara Berg after just an incredible weekend. It was
it was nice.
Fall-like.
Yes, it was. It was. And I hope you enjoyed it and you'll think about it, because as we cruise into this week, we're going to be warming things up gradually as we get into the first full week of October. Outside right now, it's comfortable. It feels still fall-like out there with clear skies, light north winds. Temperature is currently at 49 degrees. So yeah, that's going to bear probably grabbing a layer or a jacket as you get the family out the door to head out for that start of your Monday routine. We'll be into the lower 50s right around the 8 o'clock hour. 10 o'clock we'll get into the 60s, and then eventually we'll hit the 70s around noontime. Light northwest winds, a few clouds, and upper 70s to about 80 degrees in the forecast today around Sacramento. Right now you're starting out the morning at 50 degrees in Placerville, 54 in Auburn. Good morning, Fairfield. Waking up and heading out that door to 53. It's 53 degrees for Modesto. In the foothills today, expect temperatures up slightly. We'll be in the upper 60s by lunchtime, with highs reaching the lower 70s with mainly sunny skies. Coming up in the full forecast, I'll show you how much warmer it's going to get as we head into the rest of this work and school week. 6:01 is the time. If you're taking off on the roadways, Brian, what's out there?
If you're heading out through Davis, you're going to encounter a slowdown. This is all right around the 113 Old Davis Road area, where there was some sort of debris that was mainly in the number 4 lane, but also scattered across some of the other lanes. They have now reopened the number 4 lane there after Freeway Service Patrol cleaned up whatever it was. But again, you can still see some slow traffic there through Central Davis. So a little extra time needed there as you make your way towards 113. Beyond that, looking good. 50 and 80. No issues here in the Sacramento area. If you're coming in from Folsom or Roseville into downtown, 5 and 99 also looking good up out of Elk Grove all the way in. No delays on that stretch. So check in on Stockton. Pretty quiet here. Highway 12 and 4. No issues off to the west. Just checked in on that. And then 5 and 99 coming up through the Modesto to Manteca corridor there. 13-minute ride. 205 is a 34-minute ride. And westbound 580 currently 26 minutes over the Altamont Pass. Here in Sacramento, 10 minutes through the construction zone there from Rancho Cordova to 99. Interstate 80 is a 9-minute ride out of Roseville. 5 and 99 running at 11 minutes from Elk Grove.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Now let's go to a developing story. California now has a new senator who will officially replace the late Dianne Feinstein on Wednesday.
Governor Newsom announced late last night that he will appoint LaFonza Butler to fill Feinstein's remaining term. It's a decision that is drawing both praise and criticism. Let's go to Erin Heff now. She's at the state capitol with more on who this woman is and some of that reaction. Good morning.
Good morning, Teo, Deirdre. By selecting LaFonza Butler, Gavin Newsom fulfills a promise he made if Feinstein's seat were to become available. In selecting Butler, Newsom fulfilled his pledge to appoint a black woman to the seat. Butler, now not only the only black woman serving in the U.S. Senate, but also the first openly LGBTQ+ person to represent California in the chamber. Butler comes with a list of accolades, including serving as the president of Emily's List, a political action committee that works to elect Democratic women who support abortion rights. She was also the director of public policy and campaign at Airbnb. She was on the board for the UC Regents really recently, 2018 to 2021, served for 7 years as the president of SEIU United Long-Term Care Workers, and Butler was also a Democratic strategist and advisor to Kamala Harris's 2020 presidential campaign. Back out here live at the state capitol, KCRA3 did confirm that she will be sworn in on Wednesday and will fulfill the rest of Feinstein's term, which is 2024. From the California State Capitol, Erin Heft, KCRA3 News.
On Wednesday, late Senator Feinstein will lie in state at San Francisco City Hall. Video here of her casket arriving at the Bay Area city. It will be open to the public, by the way. People can attend and sign a condolence book from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And then on Thursday, there's going to be a funeral service at the San Francisco War Memorial and Performing Arts Center. It is not open to the public, but the service will be available online.
Other news now, and a man's in custody this morning after a standoff at the Franchise Tax Board building in Sacramento. Our cameras were there when the man was finally taken into custody last night. Sheriff's office tells us he stole a truck in the eastern part of the county and then drove it into the building and then smashed through the glass doors. They say he threatened security officers with a tire iron. Now, he couldn't get into any of the rooms because they require a key card. He eventually was cornered. A canine officer was actually sent in to end the standoff.
We don't even know what his motivations were, whether he was somebody that was, upset with politics or tax situation, that we don't know, or if he was someone homeless looking for shelter. We still don't know what the motivation was for them.
And was treated at the hospital for dog bites before being booked into jail.
Sidewalk barriers now surrounding a downtown Sacramento block after a potential security weakness was highlighted.
Mike Sell joins us live downtown with more on what we have learned about this sudden change, Mike.
And good morning, and we're right across 9th Street from City Hall, the federal building here at 9th and I Street. And this morning you can see those orange barriers clearly visible. Now, we were here Friday capturing video when the crews began installing these water-filled security barriers around this federal building. The Federal General Services Administration confirming for us the barriers were approved for installation after the Federal Protective Service cited a, quote, security vulnerability to the building. The city of Sacramento further explained for KCRA3 that the construction of the crash-related barriers are being permitted to, quote, mitigate high-speed vehicle approaches. Now, back in January of 2001, it was a vehicle approach where a truck driver intentionally drove a semi-tractor trailer into the downtown state capitol building, setting it on fire. It was after this incident that those now familiar permanent barriers were installed around the Capitol. Now, back out here live this morning, there are still some no parking, temporary no parking signs affixed to the parking meters. However, those were for Friday, so parking should be available on the street here. And also should note that even though these barriers do surround the building, there is plenty of space to walk on the sidewalk around this building. Live in downtown Sacramento, Mike Sell, KCRA 3 News.
Now, we did ask if any of the barriers have anything to do with the homeless encampments on that block. We were told no. Happening in less than an hour, former President Donald Trump is going to appear in a New York courtroom as his civil fraud trial gets underway. He arrived in New York overnight after taking part in a campaign stop in Iowa yesterday. The $250 million lawsuit that he's facing was filed by the New York Attorney General, and it alleges that Trump and his adult sons exaggerated their business assets for years. A New York judge determined last week that Trump's financial statements were fraudulent. Trump and his sons have denied that they did anything wrong.
Well, the government is running this morning, but the drama is building on Capitol Hill. Lawmakers have avoided a shutdown, at least for now, but at least one Republican says he will bring a vote to the floor to remove House Speaker Kevin McCarthy from his position. KCRA3's Christopher Salas is in our Washington newsroom now with more on when this could all go down.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy from his position as early as this week. All it takes is a single lawmaker to file a motion. Buying time to avoid a shutdown.
The bill is passed.
But now, new challenges for House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
I think we need to rip off the Band-Aid. I think we need to move on with new leadership that can be trustworthy.
Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz wants to remove McCarthy as Speaker for negotiating a short-term spending deal that avoided a shutdown and had more Democratic support than Republican.
He's more interested in securing TV interviews than doing something. Bring it on, let's get over with it, and let's start governing.
Over the weekend, President Biden signing the agreement at the last hour.
I'm sick and tired of the brinksmanship. And so are the American people.
The bill keeps government funding at current levels with more natural disaster aid and FAA authorization. But there's no additional Ukraine funding, which has divided lawmakers. The current funding deal expires November 17th, about a week before Thanksgiving, setting up another potential showdown over a government shutdown. In Washington, I'm Christopher Salas, KCRA 3 News.
Now, no speaker has ever been removed from office through a motion to vacate.
Tens of thousands of Kaiser Permanente workers could go on strike on Wednesday. Their contract expired yesterday. Kaiser says both sides have been negotiating all weekend, and they have made some progress on some key issues. Now, if the strike is not averted, 75,000 Kaiser workers would hit the picket lines at facilities in California, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. That would impact Kaiser facilities in Northern California as well. Workers claim that Kaiser has a staffing crisis that puts patients at risk.
I see workers that are doing the jobs of 2 to 3 people. So we're running around, we're stressed, we're busy, we're exhausted.
Kaiser says it's hired more than 29,000 frontline workers last year and another 22,000 so far this year. Kaiser says it's going to continue bargaining in good faith until it reaches a fair and equitable agreement. Now, if a strike does happen, Kaiser says hospitals and emergency departments will stay open, but certain non-urgent appointments and procedures could be rescheduled.